All right, let's get right into it. If you've got the OSCP exam breathing down your neck, you know the last thing you need is another rah-rah pep talk. What you need is a real, no-nonsense battle plan. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down a brutally honest guide to take you from that pre-exam panic right to a pass. I mean, does that sound familiar? I think it does for a lot of people. That feeling your heart is just pounding, doing a drum solo in your chest, and a simple command you've typed 100 times just fails. That moment right there, that's what this entire guide is for. See, it's not about being some kind of genius. It's about what you do when that pressure really hits. And that really gets to the core of it. The OSCP, it's not designed to see if you've memorized an entire encyclopedia of hacking tools. No way. It's testing something way harder. Can you actually run a small, reliable playbook when you're exhausted, you're stressed out, and that clock is ticking down? The real enemy here isn't the box you're trying to pop, it's the pressure. So how in the world do you beat that pressure? Well, the answer is one thing: muscle memory. That's it. It is the huge difference between frantically fumbling through your notes trying to find the right nmap flags and just typing them. It's about making your core set of tools so automatic that your brain is free to do the real work, solving the puzzle, not just trying to remember the syntax. And this is where we get to the, let's call it, the secret weapon of this whole approach. It's so simple, but it's powerful. It's not about learning more stuff, it's about focusing on less. We're talking about a core set of commands that are going to be your absolute lifeline during that exam. So, that's the million-dollar question, right? How do you go from this scattered mess of notes and tools and half-remembered commands to a calm, repeatable process that actually gets you points when it really, truly counts? Well, the answer is surprisingly small. It really is. It all comes down to this number, 20. That's it. We're not talking about hundreds of obscure, fancy tools. We're talking about 20 core commands that are going to do all the heavy lifting for you. And I love this because it perfectly illustrates the mindset shift you need. You've got to stop thinking like a librarian, trying to catalog every single tool that exists. Instead, start thinking like a race car driver. Your job is to take this small, high-performance set of tools and just drive them with absolute precision and speed. Okay, so here it is. And this isn't just some random list, right? It's a structured workflow. Let's walk through it. For recon, you've got your heavy hitters: nmap, rustscan, enum for Linux. Then for web enum, you got to be lightning fast with GoBuster, dirsearch, and nicto. When it's time to get access in a shell, you're leaning on the absolute classics: netcat, socat, ssh, wget. Then come the Privesk workhorses. For Linux, that's running linPEAS and knowing your sudo-l and find commands cold. For Windows, it's winPEAS. And of course, you've got your helpers for shell stability and buffer overflows. Think of this as your pilot's pre-flight checklist for every single machine you touch. Okay, so you have your core toolkit. Now the big question is, how do you actually make it second nature? This is the part where we turn that list of commands into true automatic muscle memory. And crucially, we do it without completely burning out. And the strategy for this is actually really simple, but it's so effective. First, forget those vague 4-hour study sessions where you just kind of drift. Instead, think in focused 60 to 90-minute power sessions. And here's how you start. Do a quick readiness check. Can you run your entire core recon stack from memory in under 15 minutes? If the answer is no, well, guess what? That's your practice plan for the day. It's all about targeted, measurable improvement. And that is such a crucial point. Seriously, being honest with yourself about the time you actually have is so much more productive than feeling guilty about the time you wish you had. A realistic plan that you can actually stick to is always going to be better than some super ambitious plan that you just give up on after a week. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the other stuff, the parts of the exam that aren't about finding that clever exploit. These are the practical, almost mundane hurdles where people just bleed time. We're talking hours lost. But a little bit of prep here goes a very long way. Case in point, file transfers. I know, it sounds so simple, but trust me, fumbling with the syntax just to get your linPEAS script onto a target machine, that can easily cost you 20 minutes of clack time you don't have. So here are the 2 most reliable methods you need to know, side by side. On your attacker box, you spin up a simple Python lab server. On the target, you just use wget or curl to pull the file over. You master these 2 patterns and you will eliminate a massive source of frustration, I promise. Oh, and I absolutely love this metaphor. Trying to work in one of those half-broken, non-interactive shells,
It's like trying to do surgery with oven mitts on. It's just clumsy, it's slow, it's frustrating. So the rule is simple, and you should make it your religion. The moment you get a shell, you spend the next 90 seconds stabilizing it, usually with a Python PTY spawn. That tiny, tiny investment of time will pay for itself 100 times over when you can actually use your arrow keys or autocomplete.
Now let's talk about a topic that causes a whole different kind of stress, the money. Because let's be real, the OSCP isn't just a technical challenge, it's a financial project. And looking at the costs, just laying them out clearly like this really helps you plan. You need to know the bundle price, what a lab extension is going to cost you, and the retake fee. And look, budgeting for a potential retake, that's not being pessimistic. That is smart planning, and it takes a ton of pressure off your shoulders. So this brings up a tough question. Should you extend your lab time or just go for the retake? This little decision card is a brilliant way to think about it. If your core command still feels shaky and you're consistently missing Prevesc paths in practice, then yeah, more lab time is probably way cheaper than a failed attempt. But if your skills are solid, you're getting shells, and your main enemy is just the clock, it might be time to go sit the exam. You have to use this as a tool for some honest self-assessment. Okay, we've covered the strategy, the core commands, and all those practical realities. Now let's bring it all together for the most critical period of all, the final 24 hours before you hit start on that exam. So here it is. This is your final mission. And let me be clear, this is not about cramming. This is a confidence-building exercise. The day before the exam, you run through this checklist, just like a pilot's pre-flight check. You're just confirming that all your systems are go. You're confirming that your core skills, that muscle memory we've been talking about, are sharp and ready. So please, the most crucial point here is this. You have to resist the temptation to learn some new, shiny exploit the night before. That's a trap. Your goal is to walk into that exam feeling calm and confident in the tools you already know inside and out. Trust the prep work you've done. Confirm your skills. And for the love of God, get some rest. And really, this quote just sums up the entire philosophy perfectly. When you narrow your focus to that reliable command stack, when you're honest about your time budgeting, and you plan for the financial side of things, you completely transform the OSCP. It stops being this huge, intimidating, foggy mountain, and it becomes what it really is, a manageable, concrete project with a clear path to a pass. So I'm going to leave you with a question to turn all this talk into action. Right now, don't just look at that whole list of 20 and feel overwhelmed. No. Look at the stack, find your weakest links, and ask yourself this simple question. What are the 3 commands you are going to master this week? The 3 are going to turn into pure muscle memory. Start there.